given his background na former commander, And,
BF chief yan. Commander Sami tawag namin dyan.
Sami Gambar nga, di ba?
Sami
Tapos marami talaga siyang supporters right away when he was appointed as interim chief minister. Marami ng base commanders ang nag-support sa kanya. Will this create a rift na yung sinasabi mong ayaw mangyari? Kasi kung sinasabi mo, Professor Rommel, na it's a balance mix of those supporting him and not supporting him, will it be a case of talagang equal powers getting to each other's neck during this election?
Please note, yung mga base commanders na nag-support sa kanya, karamihan nasa area niya rin lang, Maguindanao del Norte. And some base commanders from Maguindanao del Sur. Pero hindi pa sila nadidecommission doon eh. Marami pang di pa nadidecommission sa area. May mga base commanders pa na loyal kay Commander Bravo sa Lanao del Sur. So I don't think they express support. Iba yung may ibang leaning yung mga commanders na yan. May sarili ring following si Chief si Murad. So hindi solid yung support niya. So divided pa rin.
So this should be a cause for concern. Ma'am, dun sa recent news, nagkaroon ng ambush already sa part na Maguindanao del Norte, I think, when there was a lawyer of a candidate na ambush na. And I think COMELEC Chairman George Garcia is thinking of putting under COMELEC control certain areas in that part of Mindanao. What do you think, ma'am, ang dapat gawin ng ating administration to prevent or minimize all violence, knowing that, teka lang, autonomous dapat kayo. Ano dapat kailangan gawin dun, ma'am?
Yung election-related violence, hindi naman yan exclusively the problem of Muslim Mindanao. I mean, you have it all over the place. Nagiging news lang because of the other issues that have surfaced. Now, kung ano yung gagawin ng COMELEC sa ARM, the same thing that they should be doing everywhere else. You have police in ARM and BARM as you do everywhere else. So ano ba talaga ang role ng police? Do they have the power to do it? Kasi BARM or not BARM, the police functions are the same, which is to secure the peace and security of the community. So this is your regular election-related violence. If you're looking at other causes for it, does this have anything to do with the change in leadership in BTA? Probably not. This is really election-related. But yung just to to be fair about the analysis, kung titingnan ninyo yung facts about how badly the previous BARM leadership had been managing the region, you have to look at the statistics provided by national government. So, Philippine Statistical Authority. Tinatrack niyan, nag-improve ba ang poverty or nag-worsen? Nag-improve ba yung economic activity o nag-worsen? Now, this is the funny thing. During COVID, bagong-bago ang BARM leadership kasi they had just taken over. And because 2 taon na walang gumagalaw in most of the country, you would expect na ang BARM babagsak kasi poorest of the poor, most conflict-affected, least-served region. Interestingly enough, yung PSA, yung Philippine Statistical Authority, a year after COVID, nung they went back to get the data nationwide, ang BARM nag-improve ng konti. That is weird. That the most conflict-affected the least served region, the poorest region, na may nag-experiment in a new style of leadership, of management. Kasi parliamentary na sila, bakit nag-improve? That is not, hindi siya, parang hindi siya, if you look at the situation na sinasabi, masama yung leadership ni Murad, hindi nagtatrack.
It does not compute.
Doesn't compute kasi nag-improve ng konti. Now, if you look at the lives of people in Sulu, which is now not part of BARM, Tawi-Tawi and Basilan, three of the big provinces sa BARM, the lives of people have improved. Now, it is right to say that's because there's strong leadership in those three provinces. But you can also say that those provinces had strong leadership before Murad. So, doesn't compute again. Kaya pag tinigyan ngayon sagot ko sa iyo kanina, I have no idea. Because, before we can really look at recommendations or how do we move forward, you have got to get all your facts straight. So, there is this complaint that they're mismanaging the situation, but then the Statistical Authority has some data that makes you wonder saan sila nag-mismanage. Corruption levels, there's nothing we can do about it. If the national government doesn't do anything about corruption nationwide, do they expect us in Muslim Mindanao to be, better than everybody else in this country? I don't think that's fair, do you? So, ayusin yung corruption levels, work on the anti-corruption measures nationwide so that sa BARM, you can also implement this. If you cannot do it nationwide, why are you expecting more from a region where the literacy rate of adults is 1/3 of the population? So, we have to really take a hard look at what is happening, or the political dynamics, the security dynamics, and try to understand how do you move forward. Election will be in May. After that, you'll have the BARM elections. What you don't want to do is jeopardize the peace agreement. Luckily, the MILF leadership, they really seem to make decisions by consensus. So I'm a little bit encouraged by the fact that the statements given have been very tempered. So you don't see the MILF chair coming up with a bombastic statement when si Chief Minister Makakuwa was installed. So instead, they're very tempered statements coming from the MILF leadership. And I'm just hoping that national government, our local governments, the MILF leadership, and I hope also the group of the MNLF will be able to secure the progress made so far in the implementation of the peace agreement.
I heard in one of the media outlets that there will be some kind of talks whereby I think it will be done in the presence of a Malaysian envoy. You think, ma'am, that is an indispensable event so that the credibility of the elections or the trustworthiness of keeping that peace agreement intact? Kailangan po ba yun, ma'am?
Well, the Malaysians kasi facilitated the agreement and helped make it a successful signing, no? So I can understand why either side, in this case the MILF, would want to go to the Malaysians to again play the part of mediating the two sides. Although national government, part of the law creating BARM, there is the intergovernmental relationship group. Si Secretary Amina Pangandaman is there, the other cabinet members are there, the MILF, the BARM leadership have their counterparts there. To my mind, that is the first step. Maybe they can already discuss whatever's happening. It's just that I think they have to have more discussions because it doesn't look like they're moving quickly enough to address these problems.
One more question, ma'am. You said something about security and political stability in that part of the region. And I know, ma'am, you don't like to speculate. But at the same time, itong confluence of events na there is this impeachment trial concerning a Davao politician, there is that arrest of a Mindanao-based former president, and then there's, what do you call this? There's this sudden change in the leadership in the BARM. Ano po ba yan, ma'am? Will that affect the leadership in most parts of Mindanao, given that Duterte magic is still appears to be still strong and present in that part of the country?
A lot, I guess a lot will ride on the results of the May election. Many of us who are democracy advocates, who are human rights advocates, really take issue with the way President Duterte dealt with the drug problem. I mean, the human rights violations there, extrajudicial killings. I don't think you can take a look at what happened there and say, oh, that's not true. I mean, it happened. The magnitude is something that has got to really be looked at. But then, I'm a Mindanaoan, and I have been supporting the peace process, engaged in support for the peace process for decades. And to be fair, the law would never have been passed if Duterte was not the president, because it was PRRD who really used his political capital to get that agreement become law. And also, to be fair to President Duterte, one of the reasons I think why the Bangsamoro really respect him. Do you remember the time there was a bombing in Davao City, and immediately the national government said it was the MILF terrorist act? And Duterte came out and said, he was mayor, he said, no, do not be quick to say it's the MILF because I know the leaders. And upon the investigation, it was not the MILF. So you can understand why Muslim leaders really tend to support the former president. Will that support translate to support for the daughter? That I don't know. And Rommel probably has better analysis on that.
Hey, Rommel, Professor Rommel, given that nasegue na kayo ni Ma'am Amina, what do you think? Will this confluence of events, ICC, impeachment, and all that, translate to a confused Mindanao, or solid pa rin behind the former President Duterte and even his daughter?
Well, that's the expectation of BP Sara, that she will benefit from the still strong political capital of Duterte. That is why she's not leaving The Hague, to demonstrate that she is the daughter of Duterte and she is the rightful successor of the father for 2028. So that's the kind of message that he is in fact showing to the public. And even traveling with her is another Muslim, a convert, Robin Padilla, no? And then during one of the jokes in The Hague, they even described Robin Padilla as the vice president of BP of Sara. So they're making such kind of optics already. But what is sure right now is still Duterte still commands the Mindanao support.
Well,
He has that he's that command.
Idagdag ko lang, Professor Romel, yung sa Mindanao ba, kasama rin ba yung Visayas?
O lalo na yung northern part of Visayas, ano? Oo, northern part. Yung divided din kasi yung Visayas eh. Pero I think, kasi nga, he speaks Bisaya eh. Bisaya kasi
Yes,
sila.
Bisaya
So they
talaga.
identify within, kaya nga pag sinabi mong Mindanao and Visayas, when you talk about Duterte, it's almost the same, the same geography. Kasi nga they speak the language, okay? And they still have a lot of supporters. Kaya nga when he was arrested, you'll see initial social activities happening in Mindanao and in the Visayan islands.
You know, Professor Romel, today marks the first
Birthday
day.
niya, oo.
First day of birthday na rin.
Birthday
First
na rin.
day of the 45-day campaign
Oo.
for the local candidates in the Philippines.
Correct.